For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF X-Fit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio is back. Joe Castello in the studio as we get ready for the 2024 PRI Trade Show. It's the whole world is on the move. I would imagine that everybody is headed to Indianapolis. Everybody that is, working in the motorsport and racing industry. That is the case, maybe the case with the voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, scheduled to join us. We're hoping to connect with Alan here today. And Josh Hart, BURNYZZ Speed Shop, going to have a booth out there on the floor at the Indiana Convention Center, and super excited to get up there. I'm going to be doing a lot. We're going to hear what your take is on the latest news. We're going to hear from Josh Hart on the show, and going to talk about a lot that is going on. I do want to talk about the people who make it possible. There's good news in the world of drag racing. There's some negative news since the last time we were on the air. Last week, we did a show. It was E-Part Trade Industry Week, and I spoke with Antron Brown on Monday, and then on Tuesday, it was actually Wednesday when the news dropped, but on Tuesday, spoke with Tony Stewart. He confirmed that he'll be back driving the Top Fuel car in 2025. That was big news and super exciting to know that he was going to go again in 2025. I didn't really know that he was going to drop that news on us, but it was big news and kind of picked up in a lot of different places. But then on Wednesday, had Brad Gerber and Erica Enders. And after that 1 hour long time slot of NHRA stuff, which this is all up and available, then the news dropped, right? And it's just so deflating about Toyota. Bit of a bummer there. We'll get into that a little bit. A week has gone by. I think it has given a little perspective to everybody. Crew chiefs are on the move. We're going to get into that. There's a great story on NHRA.com. I highly recommend. Give you a general idea of all the different rumor mill stories that are out there. We're going to get into all of it. And also, create a little entertainment as we get ready for PRI. Hopefully people are checking out and downloading on their way as they're getting on the planes. I leave on Wednesday, get up there in the afternoon on Wednesday, and we'll be on the floor in Total Seal booth 1525 on Thursday, and kind of bouncing around back and forth, doing a record session on Thursday at 2 p.m., 2 to 4, and then on Friday at 2 to 4. We got Greg Anderson coming by. The president of PRI is coming by. The Stanfields are coming by. Pat Musey's coming by. Darren Morgan's coming by. We got a bunch of great celebs going to come by as we create Hidden Horsepower, the podcast, and always do very well with our PRI stuff. People love, hearing about what the latest news is and what's going on, all that stuff. So swing by booth 1525, Total Seal. Say hi to Lake Speed Jr., Keith Jones. And if you're an engine builder, spend a little time learning about why Total Seal's technology is a little bit better. You heard a little bit about Jesse Converters. Matt Latino got his Pro Stock license, or very least made test runs in Bradenton last week. So you might have a different Latino in 2025 or an additional Latino. It all depends. But DPF X-Fit, the same quality OE replacement, particulate filters, aka catalytic converters for your heavy diesel over-the-road truck. Scan that QR code, DPF X-Fit. Also want to shout out to the folks at CWT Industries. This is Randy Neal's company, booth number 5223 and 5323. They got the balance machine set up. Go by, say hi to Randy, and get the demonstration. Have a look at the touchscreens. Check out the software. That's what's great about Machinery Row at PRI. you get the opportunity to test drive the equipment and see them work and see how big it is and what it takes and all of that, as opposed to looking online or getting a video, watching one of the videos we put out. You can actually talk to Randy and he'll show you the machine, CWT Industries. David Allen going to be walking the floor as well. HusseyPerformance.net, not just copper head gaskets anymore. And you can text him and meet up with him, 724-318-8292. Folks at HusseyPerformance.net. We'll talk a little bit about BURNYZZ with Josh coming up, and then the Foggit booth. I am super excited about the Foggit booth this year. 2312. Hopefully you're writing this down. If you're not writing this down, the dyno test video is up. It is dropped. It is out. You would be doing me a great favor by helping me defeat the YouTube algorithm by giving us a like, watching the video, dropping a comment, whatever it is. That will help the YouTube algorithm go crazy and show it to so many more people. I just put the link to the Project Pontiac dyno video in the chat section right now. If you're listening later on the podcast, don't worry. It's in our feeds. It's all over the place. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Project Pontiac playlist. But you need, you don't need an excuse to go see Gary in the Foggit booth. But the engine is going to be there. And so why not swing by, get yourself some Foggit, have it shipped to your shop, not a can, but several cans. And you'll realize, like I have realized in so many other, Dave Morris joked me last night. He's like, you're going to use more Foggit on this thing than you do race fuel because that's going to be preserving it. That's kind of funny, Dave Morris, but also probably a little true. So go see Gary. 2312. On the floor. Our folks at Samtech going to be there. Brian Massengill going to be there. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. They're always there walking around. Frank Hawley. It makes a great gift. We posted it on our Facebook page last week. Great gift. Holiday gift. $4.99. Not a bad price to drive dragsters, to reward the loved one with a great experience. And our great friend Marvin Rodak is not going to be at PRI. But super excited to talk about all of this, and hopefully even our friends at PowerTube TV are going to be at the PRI Trade Show. We're going to check out Brian and hang out with those guys for a little bit as well. So it's going to be a very busy show, but if you're on the way, we ask you and encourage you to go check out that dyno video, the full video. Braylon Rooker did a great job. I think he's the big star of the whole deal so far. Speaking of stars, we got him right here. Share the show, guys. It's Alan Reinhart. That's it. Share the show. It's Alan Reinhart. What's up, Alan? Where do you?
I'm a star.
Leave? When do you leave? You're a star. You're a star.
I leave tomorrow morning. Dark 30 out of here and into Indy about. I think I'd land like 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like that.
4:40 in Indy. No other option. Nonstop direct from Miami. I'll be getting there just under the wire. Hopefully, I can get in and get my pass. And if not, oh well, I'll do it on Thursday morning.
You don't have your pass?
No, the Total Seal guys get their pass. Maybe they got it for me, but they get them all in a batch. Yeah, I go in on the Total Seal banner.
Wild West Engineering is a PRI member, so I've had mine for 3 months. They mail them out very, very early, and it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, there's whatever. It's too long to go into. Is my membership was included under the Total Seal banner, which means I'm part of their group, which whenever I tried to sign up, my name is already listed under another thing, and that would require me calling someone, and I tried, and it's just like not the biggest problem to worry about when you've got other things going. But
Gotcha.
I'm excited. How excited are you? This is always a great year. Someone was said, I haven't been to PRI since they left Orlando. I'll confess, I think it's better now. I loved Orlando, but everybody being connected under the same roof pretty much the whole time. Even if you're in your hotel and I'm in mine, we're still connected. We can walk and get there. No cars. I don't even get a rental car. I just Uber in. It's a better program. Alan. Yeah, he's like frozen. He's not frozen. What's going on, Alan? What's up with you? Do you hear me, Alan Reinhart?
Yeah, it's definitely, staying downtown. It's interesting because I've talked to people from time to time that, like, well, the hotels downtown are expensive. It's like, yes, they are. And you know what? You don't need a car. So you don't have to pay for parking. You save an hour a day each way. I'm driving downtown, finding a place to park, and then going back to wherever you're going. And yeah, it's so much easier to just skywalk your way around. And I've actually been communicating with the guy who shot me a note on my announcer email the other day about it. And, he said, man, it really, and I said, yeah, but everything you need, you can basically walk to, and you almost never have to go outside unless you really want to. And it's just way, way, way better program. So yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to keep my streak alive, because I don't think I've had to take like an Uber or a taxi from the hotel since it went back to Indy.
That's nice.
There's always like somebody on the plane, or when I'm walking through, there's somebody that's like, hey, are you going downtown? Can I hitch a ride? I'll buy you a beer when we get to the hotel, or whatever the deal is. And so I'm going to try to keep that string alive, be able to just, like mooch myself a ride downtown. And if that doesn't work, then, hey, Uber's always there, or the taxi's always there.
Yeah, no, that's a good streak you've got going on. It's, it's like $30 or whatever it is to get from the airport, but you're right. You do not have to, I have done the stay away from downtown early on in my PRI experience. It's worth the money, but maybe we shouldn't be telling people this, because then more people will come in and take up the hotel rooms and the price will go up. So let's use that reverse psychology that we always use. It's terrible, guys. It's awful. Like, why would you want to do that? It's so expensive and it's awful. Like, the real move is to stay like 20 miles away and drive in each morning.
Stay in Plainfield. Yeah,
Plainwood, that Plainfield, that Home 2 Suites there. So nice. You get a kitchen. Yeah. Why would you not do that?
There's an Applebee's right down the street. So you got like everything you need. You can get the stop and go on the way in the morning for your, your coffee or your energy drink or whatever you need to get going in the morning. And then you're on your way.
What's my favorite restaurant over there in Plainfield? It's like that military themed place. I forget what it's called, but it's like a locals place, and old school restaurant, military themed, great stuff. That's where everybody should stay. Definitely not downtown. All right, so let's attack some of the news. We got Josh Hart. He's going to be joining us on the show, hopefully, here in a little bit. I suggested he connect around, quarter after, 20 after, something like that, because he's got Jason McCullough. BURNYZZ is going to be there. But let's attack the negative stuff first, right? I want to get your thoughts on Kye Kelley winning the Snowbirds. That's kind of a cool story. Crew chiefs are going all over. Where's Dickie Venables?
I was going to say, what's negative about Kye Kelley winning?
No. The negative.
Did I miss the memo?
Bad news first. Toyota, it set off a negativity bomb amongst our loyalists out there. Every outlet, of course, has that storyline. It's negative. I could make an argument that it's not as negative as some people think, but I want to hear what you say.
Well, I mean, if you stick around long enough, sponsors come and sponsors go, and you hate to see them go, but look at what they did for us while they were here. And also, the door's not closed. If they decide 2 years down the road or 3 years down the road that, that NHRA bang for the buck was, then I think it's very possible that they could come back. And I don't believe that they're just going to disappear. They are pulling back considerably. That's great. But if you think there's not going to be any Toyota funny cars out there, you haven't been paying attention. If you think that Slugger's not going to come out and just put an appearance from time to time to come out and hang out with us, I don't believe that's the case either. I think that, marketing strategies change. And sometimes, you've got X number of dollars to spend. And okay, I've been spending them here for a while. I think I've made, my mark over there. I think we've got the attention of the people that are over there. Now I want to go try something else. And again, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years down the road, it's very possible that the circle will come back around. There are a lot of things that have to go into a sponsorship agreement. And part of it is the guys making the decisions. There are a number of sponsor agreements that are in place because the guy who's in charge thinks that's cool. So that's where he wants to spend his money. Yes. And, they've had some changes at Toyota, at TRD, and I'm sure there's a new team coming in. They want to make their mark. They want to do some things, maybe they've got some new ideas, some stuff they want to try. And the NHRA package isn't as big a part of it as it has been in the past. Well, thank you for coming. And I hope we'll see you again somewhere down the road. I'm almost positive that we will. So, it's not good ever to see a sponsor leave, but it is, part of doing business. Things happen. Customers come, customers go, and you just kind of keep plowing forward.
I agree, and we can go a little more in depth, but that pretty much summarizes my feelings. It comes down to this, right? Don't be sad it ended. Be happy it happened. They spent 20 years in the sport of NHRA drag racing. They added tons of technology. They introduced us to wonderful people that we love, like Slugger and all those engineers. They totally raised the game, Toyota, while they were here. They won me over in a way I never thought I could ever be won over by a non-domestic manufacturer. And I've driven their cars and I understand their methodology. And I know everybody doesn't agree, but it worked with me. And thank you, Toyota, for your time. And by the way, they're leaving at the end of 25, so we got a whole nother year. And what could happen with the official car of the NHRA in the future? There's a lot of manufacturers. Do they want to get involved with the most hardcore of car people? Do they want to have access to great racers like Josh Hart, who live and work with cars all day long? This is the place to be. Speaking of which, he joins us now, Josh Hart, from on location from BURNYZZ Speed Shop. What's up, Josh? How are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm great.
All good, man. All good.
All right. What booth are you guys in at PRI? I know BURNYZZ is going to be there. You've got some big BURNYZZ news, but give us the number. I didn't have it.
Me either.
He doesn't have it either. All right. Well, we'll find it. I should have cleared it, Josh. Do you have the number? You have the number, Josh? It's okay. Why is it important for you guys, though? Doing what you do, showcasing, you do everything at BURNYZZ. We talk about it each week here on WFO Radio. What does PRI give you the opportunity to accomplish?
Oh, it's an awesome step out onto the national stage. We're unveiling a 67 Lincoln that we're going to auction off for the first time ever. Almost all of our builds are, pre-sold. So this has been attempted to be sold internally multiple times, and we told everybody you're going to have to go to Mecum and bid on it. So it's the first time that we've stepped out on the national stage to try to get some traction on a BURNYZZ built car.
That is cool. That's like getting into the build biz, and that's where it's at.
67 Lincoln. We Frenched the hood. We did so the trunk opens one way, the hood opens the other way. It's got the suicide doors. It's got a convertible top, but we also did a lift-off top. It's got a 650 horsepower Shafroth engine. I mean, it's badass. So.
Wow. When is that unveiling?
So the first public appearance was by photo on Facebook, on the BURNYZZ social media site, but in person at the PRI show.
That's awesome. In the booth.
Mm-hmm.
To be named later. That's awesome. Everybody go and like the social right now and go see the car in person. Well, it's cool that you guys are doing it. BURNYZZ, you've had a lot of big announcements with BURNYZZ over the past year. This thing keeps growing and growing. Nice partner to the Top Fuel team. We'll talk about that. But are you planning on having the Fan Fest again before the Gator Nationals?
Absolutely. Bigger and better than ever.
Nice. That has been a big part of it. Oh, here we go. Sue Morris has looked it up. BURNYZZ PRI booth 4746. Thank you very much.
Sue.
Virtual producer Sue from Fuel Factory 4746. Good job saving the day, Sue.
My wife really is amazing. I just show up where I'm told. That's how I've been married for 22 years.
Alan, question for Josh.
No, I like that. You have to show up where I'm told. It makes perfect sense. Josh, talk a little bit about the shop. The race shop has been busy. I know your race shop is in Indianapolis, but I've seen cars being built, things being updated, personnel changes. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, obviously, worst year in my career as an NHRA driver last year. So this year, whatever. But just needed to shake it up a little bit. I'm a loyal person, sometimes to a fault. But, I wanted to end my career with the same people that we started with. So nobody's leaving. We're just adding to the pile. Two brains are better than one. And I think that we made a bunch of educated decisions by getting more full-time help instead of relying on the amazing fly-in guys that we did have. But we want somebody that's really going to be dedicated to Josh Hart Racing and help us really become a championship contender.
And so how does that work in reality? Like Jason McCullough was the hire. Is he going to be at the shop full time? How's that working with Ron? I know they have worked together at Bob Vandergriff in the past, as I understand it. And how did you come to the conclusion that Jason was your guy? If you can walk us through that.
Yeah, believe it or not, Ron actually kind of orchestrated all of that, and with Jason came some full-time help in the clutch department. A lot of the guys, we had kind of a hybrid program where they'd fly in for the weekend, they'd do a great job, and that was that. But to really establish accountability in the team, we all felt that we needed somebody that was going to be dedicated to us from this point forward. So I am excited to meet everybody. I haven't met everybody yet in person. So the PRI is going to be good for that as well. And just kind of revamping everything. We're switching a lot of parts again to really go all out. We're kind of joining forces with Alan Johnson in that regard.
Alan?
Actually, that was going to be my next question, is if you had thought about either partnering up with somebody or potentially bringing out a second car, because, hey, the more information you get, the better. And it's been proven time and time again. So you're going to have at least maybe a pseudo partnership with AJ, with the Collettas. How's that going to work?
Yeah, when I said partnership, I meant like we're gonna run all of their parts.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's always been on my mind to do that. I'm excited to learn, but I've also heard all the negatives to the the joint ventures on teams and things. So we're okay being on our own little island as long as we're performing properly.
You have, and I mean this in like a complimentary way, it hasn't exactly worked out, but you realized that you wore out the stuff that you bought and you did great things. You jumped on the scene, you won your first race, and you've said here on WFO in the past that you maybe stuck with it a little too long. But last year you went through new systems, you were adding and updating, and also it wasn't for lack of expense. You were making the changes. It just seemed like you were a little behind the eight ball. Is it just personnel and accountability? But what else kind of went into just not being able to catch up to the field in enough time in 24?
Yeah, listen, there's a lot of respect that I have for all of our own other fellow racers, so opportunities presented itself, and I had to decline so that I didn't initiate silly season too early. We just were a little bit more respectful than that. So that was part of it. I think that if we could have gotten help, sooner in the year, we probably would have performed better throughout the season. But that's not how we roll. So we waited till the proper time and took all the lessons as we went.
Alan?
Josh, let's switch gears from racing business to BURNYZZ business. What's new in Ocala? Because every time I'm down there, it's like, oh, you've updated that building, or oh, you moved that shop over to there, or oh, you're building something different over here. What's going on down on the home front?
A lot of exciting news. So, we're proud to say that we partnered with an amazing private equity group that's going to help us with a $100 million business expansion program. We're looking at other locations in Park City, Utah, Hazleton, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, and Ocala will always be our little hub, let's call it. But these are places where we will be able to offer our cars nationwide. And I don't think anybody realizes how much metal we move, in Switzerland, Australia, Brazil. But very proud of that. It was 9 months of extreme tension during due diligence. So that's behind us now, and we're very excited to expand.
You have
$100 million expansion?
Yeah, we're talking about doing a little program with NHRA where we display some of our cars on the midway. People can interact with me and interact with, the cars that we built. They can even place an order for a new car right there on the midway. So we're excited to do that with NHRA coming up. And we're going to use it for recruiting new talent. We're ever growing. We need talent. We don't look at people as a body count. Some people have more talent in their pinky than 5 people put together. So just a lot of exciting news around BURNYZZ.
Wow. That's big news right there. Congratulations. I just keep thinking about you're managing that decision, like you said, the due diligence, all the while running the business, all the while running a top fuel team out there. It's it's a testament to your ability to manage all of those things, but you've got to be excited that one of them is now completed so you can take whatever extra energy you have and focus it on the racing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was intense. I mean, I've never been subject to some of that stuff. But I still maintained, the second fastest reaction time in the class. And I'm proud of that. And now we just need to pay attention and get the brace program to catch up to the BURNYZZ success.
Alan, one more for Josh Hart.
Pretty amazing stuff. What is your pre-season schedule? You've, with new parts, with new equipment, with new people, are you planning on hitting the track? I'm guessing before Bradenton someplace to go out and, shake some of the rust off and get everybody in sync?
I think that'll be determined after PRI, just to kind of see how the new stuff is flowing in. I know we were very fortunate. PBRC got one of our chassis back to us already, so I'll just check the progress and then we'll come up with a game plan. But yeah, that's definitely not off the table.
Excellent. There's a question out there. Josh, are you going to bring new paint schemes to Top Fuel Dragster? Your green, other than the green and white paint schemes. So I love the Arnell Carriers look, of course, and BURNYZZ occasionally. But are you that deep into 25 that you can tease maybe some of the looks we might see?
Absolutely. We realized that the pink TechNet car is one of the most popular paint schemes that we've ever had. So we'll do a little bit more with them. We're proud to say that, all the same players are on board. We officially have kind of an ongoing agreement with RNL. TechNet, we're solid. And we're announcing the new partnership with somebody else at PRI.
Okay, so you're going to be part of the news makers at PRI. Very exciting. All right, I got one more question about Jason McCullough, because I'm a big fan of Jason. And when I heard this, it made me excited for an aspect. And Alan, you can weigh in on this too, because maybe I'm wrong about this. But Jason has, for the last however many years that I can think of, he's always been part of multi-car teams, and maybe it could be said he was on the B car or the 1A car, right? Like with Alan and recently with Capco and all that stuff. To me now, Jason McCullough is on the go out, set low ET, win the world championship car. And I think that's kind of a different mentality that he might bring to the table, him and Ron. And that made me excited for him to have this opportunity. Just, take that where you want. But I think it's kind of cool that you guys are going to be doing that.
100%. Could not agree with you more. Everybody deserves a shot. We're going to give it to him. We don't really say the B word, which is, budget. So it's all about getting the win. So that's what we want. Him and Ron are going to make great calls, and we're going to see some success in 2025.
That's awesome. Josh, thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you this week, and look forward to seeing you on the track before too long.
Appreciate you guys.
Later, Josh. See you at PRI.
Yes,
way to go. There he goes. Josh Hart with us here on WFO Radio. How about that for a little big news coming out of BURNYZZ Speed Shop in Ocala? $100 million expansion, private equity, introducing cars to people in the NHRA fandom. The Lincoln, which several people have posted in the chat that it's beautiful. You can go check it out on social media. But way to go, Josh, making moves.
Well, I'm doing kind of the same thing. I've got a $100 expansion that is coming up here soon. Just trying to get the financing all in place to make that happen. But
you're thinking of starting a GoFundMe, all right?
I love Josh, but how could you, if I was announcing $100 million, I'd be doing backflips. I'd be popping champagne corks, and he's like, well, yeah, we got $100 million expansion, and we're looking at different cities and going around the country. And I'm what? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, it was intense, though. He shared with us. What do you think about what I said about Jason McCullough? Because I was thinking about that. Jason has been around a long time. He is a great talent. You talked to him on the starting line. He's deep in thought. He's got a great sense of humor. But in my just casual thinking about his career, he's been on the second car often. And everybody says that all the cars are equal and everybody's got an equal chance to win and everybody's focused on winning, and that's what they will say. But now he is on the A car at Josh Hart Racing, and there's no other team car. There's no any of that. And I think that's a different mentality for him because he knows it's all about those guys. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some truth to that, but I also think that, most of the guys that are in that position have the mindset of we came here to win. Now, if you're racing against your team car, maybe a different thought process comes in, but guys like Jake don't go to the starting line thinking that I'm on the B team. They go to the starting line thinking I came here to win the race. And so, being able to maybe not share information, maybe, he and Ron, you mentioned, have worked together before. And, it's really about just finding the magic and finding the people that click. And once you find that, then, then that's when the wins and the championships start coming. Excuse me.
No worries. Let's see. Can Jason Mack throw a right hook like his old man? Says Lonnie. No, we don't do that. All right, Kye Kelley winning the Snowbirds. That's like, big news. Shock to the social media. We talked about it a lot on Ignition, and Matt in Australia said some things that I think were really poignant. The short wheelbase pro mod looks so good. Those Street Outlaws guys, by rule, want them to look just like they are, steel roof and quarters. They go out there and do it. But it's running to the 8th mile. And frankly, Pierce and Kye are racing a lot. Like, they've got a very, very dense schedule. They're hitting the track all the time. So it even kind of makes sense. We say it all the time. The more you do it, the better you are. And of everybody that's involved, those guys might be doing it the most.
Well, absolutely. You're going to learn something every time you start the car. So the more opportunities you get to take it to the racetrack, the more opportunities you get to go out there and take a swing at it, you're going to learn something that's going to help you somewhere down the road. Now, one thing that I haven't heard, and what happened with Antron Brown? Because I know that he was supposed to be a part of that thing, and then I never saw or heard anything about it.
I saw him make a run in the Lexus. That he posted, but further details, I don't know. I know he was going to be a part of it, but maybe someone will update us.
Hadn't he partnered up with Manny or somebody to drive a Pro Mod? I thought he was going to be part
Manny's
of that.
Lexus. He's got a red Lexus Pro Mod, and Antron put it out there. And Antron told us last week he was going to do it. He's going to run Pro Mod down there. But as far as the deets, I do not have them. But A to the B. And Erica, she joined us on the PRI Trade Industry Week. She was making her time runs as well. But in the end, I know that Kye got the job done. And I did not lock in on it, honestly. Working on Project Pontiac around here, the old hands-on thing. Jim Parks, AB, did not qualify. Thank you, Parks. Way to go. And here they all coming in. DNQ, Alan. Very tight field.
Okay.
8th mile Pro Mod racing, you've got all those cars, and the best of the best are there. So it makes sense.
No, and I certainly wasn't trying to pick at a scab, but I didn't know. I figured that, somewhere, social media, somebody would post something about Antron. And I did look down the 32 car ladder and saw that his name wasn't on it, but I didn't know if they had struggled or had problems or if he ended up not going or what. So, all right. Well, I guess that'll probably just, knowing Antron, that'll probably just make him even hungrier for next time.
Yes, exactly. Other news that dropped last week. Tony Stewart, the return in 2025. People have been joking with me that was the news from PRI that was going to get released. I hope it wasn't, because he volunteered it. I was like, what can you share with us? And he's like, I'm back in 2025. That's huge for the sport. That's big stuff. And he said there would be a press release the following day. We now know what it was. Mike Knutson, Phil Schuler on Hagen's car. Dickie Venables moving on to someplace that we do not know where it is just yet, or we might know, but we're not going to say.
Yeah, I think it's not my news to break, but I think it's inside the industry. I think everybody is pretty confident they know where Dickie's going to land. That one surprised me a little bit. Just the success they've had and the things that they've done over there. But times change, and sometimes these things are just unavoidable. So I think it's interesting that Phil Schuler's coming over there because he was, obviously a pretty big part of the JCM group. So, Phil's been around a long time. He is a bright guy. He is certainly going to make the car run very well. I was a little bit surprised that the JCM let him get away. So I guess we wait and see what the next news will be coming from that part of the world. But I don't think that Matt Hagen's going to slow down a whole lot. Swapping Dickie for Phil Schuler.
Yeah, I'm excited for Mike because we're seeing you get to know all these guys and you have great personal relationships, but people do need their shot, and also the number of people who are capable of running these cars at the highest level is extremely limited. If we're going to grow this thing, and let's say you get some more teams coming in from outside of drag racing, they want to get involved and just pick it up at the high level. Who are these crew chiefs that they're going to be hiring, right? Like, so I think it's a good thing for Mike Knutson to take over and run the show. And Dickie is going to end up somewhere if he wants to, or maybe he doesn't. Who knows what that news is. And I think he does, right? But until they drop the story, it's a mystery. We don't know. Maybe he's going to walk the earth like Kane in Kung Fu, just helping people, have his own show, Venables.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to walk. The other thing, I was really surprised to hear that Blake Alexander and Jim Head were going their separate ways, because I really thought those guys had a solid partnership that seemed to work well for both of them. But apparently, Blake wants to run for the championship or wants to run the full season, and that's something that Jim didn't want to do. But those two, I was surprised to hear that news. It just officially came out a couple of days ago, I guess.
So for everybody that wants to keep up with all the silly season stuff, there's a great story on NHRA.com. NHRA never quits rolling out content, including Attention in the Pits, by the way, which we have been pumping out the past couple of weeks. And you can see one of the amazing cars of the NHRA Lucas Oil Series and meet the cool characters behind it each week on the YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, and more importantly, we need you to share that stuff, people, right? The WFO universe is all about like voting and sharing and liking and commenting. We're defeating algorithms and whatnot. And we need you to like that stuff. So get on it. In addition to, you will be entertained by it. Attention in the Pits. But the Blake thing is interesting. And I've heard some rumor mill stuff. I don't know if he's going to run a full season or not. There might be another driver involved. But exciting for Blake. He got a couple of wins. Jim Head, I don't know. But if it means more quality cars and one now splits into two and another car is out there on the property, that's never a bad thing. But I think it'll be interesting to see who drives Jim Head's car. Like, that's what I want to know. Jim Head is going to have to find a new driver. Who could that possibly be?
Well, I don't think Jim's going to struggle too much finding somebody to drive that car, especially when you look at the performance of it the last couple of seasons. He has been able to run with anybody and outrun a number of times. You've mentioned, they've put that thing in the winner's circle a couple of times. So I don't think there's going to be any shortage of applications rolling into Columbus, Ohio going, hey, can I drive your car, Mr. Head?
Exactly. Yeah, but Jim makes the call, right? Like, not everybody and Jim Head are going to get along. That's what the thing about Blake was interesting, that it lasted. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out. That's an interesting story to follow.
Jim's easy to get along with. I get along with him fine.
Yeah, maybe you should drive the car.
Maybe.
Like, yeah, right. Memphis Lonnie says that you and I are hiring Dickie Venables, be the new crew chief. So you don't blow me up. That's fine. This is the story everybody wants.
We haven't announced that officially yet. Yeah,
Lonnie, you blew it. You shared our news before it was our opportunity to roll it out. The John Force story is what everybody wants to know. Jack Beckman, what's going to happen? John Force, 2025, Robert Haight. I don't know if that's a PRI announcement, if that's a just wait and see. John Force traditionally doesn't really make a big deal about what they do. They just do it.
It was announced that Cornwell had re-upped for 3 years with Austin Prock. So I think that we are all pretty confident what's going to happen there. And for those who missed it, Jack Beckman was absolutely let Force know that he was available if needed and would be ready to go at a moment's notice. So that's the latest breaking news there.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Like maybe the deal is Beckman needs to play a little harder to get, like these elevators are really cool. Like, you guys don't realize how cool these elevators are. Every time Beckman comes on WFO, it's like we're talking elevators, not because of him, because of me. It's a very fascinating topic. Maybe maybe Beckman's not available. Maybe Beckman is going to drive for Jim Head. Like maybe that's the rumor I'm starting. Like everybody, the guy won 2 races in his final 6 races. Maybe people should be clamoring for Jack Beckman. And if John Force Racing doesn't scoop him up fast, he's going to get another opportunity.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. John and Robert, if you don't make an announcement quick, I'm certainly, he's going to drive for Jim Head, or maybe he'll be the latest guy to join Elite Motorsports in a Pro Stock car, because they're going to have 14 of those things this year, right? Or something like that.
Yes. Yeah. Well, listen, I'm just trying to be the Drew Rosenhaus for Jack Beckman right here. I'm trying to work it for him, like as his agent with no compensation, right? Like this guy, come on, man, you should be hired immediately by somebody on retainer to start a team. Like, and there is in the story, right? Because we don't step on people's news, but it is an NHRA story that Tasca is potentially looking at his second car. Maybe, who would he put in the car? Jordan Vandergriff's name has been mentioned out there. There's a lot of speculation, and here we are. It's not even the holidays yet. So we'll see. This is part of PRI, right? I bet you some of this is wrapped up at PRI.
Joe, I think you're missing a bet here. You're out there waving the Jack Beckman flag. You should be waving the Jordan Vandergriff flag, because if you get him off of the TV side of things, then that, could open up another opportunity for you.
You noticed that, right? Like I was going good on the TV deal, and then Jordan with his like 50 million teenage lady followers comes on, is on the show, and suddenly the demographics of the entire sport change, which I am in support of, by the way. And Jordan is a wonderful friend. But yes, we want to see him back behind the wheel of a nitro car, and so does he. That would be great if it happened, and I certainly hope it does. Plus, he and Austin are like, yin and yang. They're like great friends and all. To be on the same team, that would be great. We'll just have to wait and see. You mentioned Elite Motorsports. That is a nice one. Like the rumor mill says, maybe Camry Caruso could be on the move to go over there. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but we shall see. But the thing that I like is that Greg Stanfield and Aaron are going to get to race with and against each other out of the same camp. Stephen Bell finally going to drive a Pro Stock car. That's how it's supposed to go, right? They're rowing to Liberty for a little while, realizing they love it. Stephen Bell now going to run Pro Stock with Elite. And Greg Stanfield, first person to put a WFO decal on his Pro Stock car, on a big show car ever. And he and Aaron are going to join me in the Total Seal booth, by the way. Very excited about those matchups.
Right on. Yeah, there's been some kind of behind the scenes news in the Pro Stock world as well. Guys, moving, from the old, toolbox roads, rolling from shop to shop kind of thing. So I think it's going to make the class even more competitive, and I think it's going to make the rivalries, especially the KB Titan versus Elite, maybe even a little bit hotter than it has been as of late. I still keep waiting, hoping for the McGahey team to bust out, because Pro Stock is better when those two cars are out there mixing it up on a regular basis. And I know that, they're certainly not wasting any time this winter trying to do what they can do to improve their program as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now that the McGaheys no longer have to pay any attention to the New York Yankees baseball, that Juan Soto is now a Met. And it's like, Chris texted me. He never texts me. He texts me about that, right? Like we're all, oh my gosh, we're devastated. It's only, Alan, what was it? $750 million.
Yeah. $52 million a year or something like that. So, $1 million bucks a week.
You used to play competitive softball. Maybe you can shake the rust off.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm 6 months or so beyond my prime for that.
Yeah.
And
bummer, Alan.
Yeah,
that would have been good. But seriously, 750 million. Like I believe, people, these athletes and everything, that's what happens when you grow the pie, right? Like everybody's, certain people's slice of the pie, figuratively, metaphorically speaking, of course, gets bigger. And the baseball pie has grown so big that one dude can get a contract worth $750 million for playing the game, right? Like it's hard to think about. It's amazing in reality and concept, but those are the numbers. And who should get that money, right? Like, should it just go in the owner's pocket? Like, should they give the hot dog vendor? Everybody is making like $35 an hour. Like there's an argument to be made for that, but That's a pretty big deal, man. 765, 15 years. Parks put it up.
The funniest thing I saw on social media was the guys that were all burning their 22 jerseys. And I'm thinking to myself, there's no name on that thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a new guy coming in. He's going to be great.
If I went out and spent $150 on a guy's jersey and he left the team and there's no name on it, I'm instantly, oh yeah, it's a Nolan Ryan throwback, because wasn't he 22 when he played for the Yankees?
Yes. Well, so the Yankees don't have names on their jerseys because it's not about the player, it's about the team, right? But really, we know it's just so you can keep your jersey when we don't pay for a player. Yeah, silliness to burn a jersey. Yeah, that's all. Well, Nick Turturro is a super crazy Yankee fan. I don't expect you to know him. John Turturro is his brother, I guess. He's, actor. But Nick Turturro goes to social with a crazy, horrific rant. He's got a bat. He's smashing people. Angry about the Mets. Like the Mets, whatever. Like, they can pay Soto. I don't think they're going to do anything. Justin Ashley is probably very excited.
Think how happy Louis Bloom is then, because Louis Bloom is that Met fan.
And Justin Ashley also. Mets, Jets, Islanders. They collect together. The Yankee fans are Ranger fans and Giant fans. And I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. It's totally different. But Mets, Jets, Islanders, man. They're all like kind of in a collective there. And Justin Ashley is definitely very happy wherever he is. He'll probably be at PRI. We'll talk about it. Probably be very happy. All right. Let's keep going. Any other, like in the story on NHRA.com, they talk about Mike Salinas, what's going on. They talk a little bit about Ida and Tony funding for next year. What's the story with that? Anything else that sticks out in your mind that we should watch? You mentioned in Pro Stock some not on the surface news, like the purchase of organizations and vendors and whatnot. That might not be a surface story, but could have an effect. What else is on your radar?
Well, right now, I'm just kind of got everything on hold. I've got a lot of people that I'm looking forward to talking to this weekend at PRI. And, there's always news that breaks and comes down and things that are made official this weekend, some of which, leaks out ahead of time, and some of which, to be perfectly honest, at least for me, over the years has been a like, wow, I didn't see that coming splash. So right now I'm just kind of waiting to see and hear what the next thing is that's coming along. But I do believe that by the time we do this again next Tuesday, we're going to have answers to some of those questions.
Exactly. All right. So I have one storyline that I think is a big one that I want to mention, that I know you're excited about too. And if you're not, you will be. But I had planned to put up a photograph and I failed. In this moment, I will ask you all to please go to the YouTube channel when you get a chance and watch the Project Pontiac video. You will be excited by it. I think it is cool. It is very well done. Our young videographer, who's just 18 years old, Braylon Rooker, did a tremendous job with it. And hopefully there's going to be more to come. So check out Project Pontiac, especially in Foggit booth 2312. And all of the partners, everybody who was helpful, are invited to come by between 4 and 5 on Friday to kind of hang out and get yourself a can of Foggit. But the guy I want to talk about is this guy, Alex Owens, promoted to vice president of auto imagery. Richard Schute's going to remain the president because, we can't get rid of Richard and we don't want to. But get this.
Well, he owns the joint, so.
He's the owner, right? He's the owner that's kind of coming around and causing trouble for the employees. And they're like, oh, he's back. But we love Richard Shute, one of my favorite people out there. But now he's even more so my favorite. There's a press release that went out. It'll be picked up everywhere. But Alex Owens, this kid is like in his 20s. And he is drag racing lifer, great person, promoted to vice president of auto imagery, the people who really have documented the sport of NHRA drag racing for the last 50 years. Richard showing up with this little Instamatic camera and flash cubes, and now is pretty much where everybody goes to capture their historic photographs from NHRA national events. And Alex is the guy on the ground doing it. And there was a lot of talk that he should be DI 30 under 30. And hopefully he will, or maybe that list has actually come out. But to me, maybe he was.
I'm sure that he is.
Well, that's tremendous. But now this is an even bigger deal because he's got the gig to go with it. VP Auto Imagery. Congratulations, Alex.
No, and that's, I think that's very well deserved, because anybody that spends any time at the racetrack, whether you know Alex or not, when you see him, you go, oh, that guy again. Oh, that guy again. I mean, he's out there early. He's out there late. He's taking care of the sportsman racers as well as the pros, and, just getting out there and hustling and making it happen. And that's, I think, if you want to move up in the world, then that's what you got to do. You got to get out there and hustle and make things happen. And, I think that's a well-deserved promotion. And I also think for Richard Shute that, he's been trying to slow down a little bit the last couple of years. And I think that's going to give him an opportunity to potentially slow down a little bit more if he wants to.
Yeah, we still got to get Richard on the show, by the way. Richard, if you're out there, like, I've got this whole plan for Richard, and he's just like, but the winter break is the perfect time. All right, final thought, Alan, anything that we did not talk about that needs to be discussed, or we will have not done our job in this session of WFO as we get ready to get out to the PRI show. And, I am just thrilled for everybody to see the Project Pontiac engine in person and, take pictures with it and selfies and post it all over the internet. That's really the goal.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a big line for that.
Line.
I think we covered, most of the news of the day. There's certainly going to be, as I said, a lot more coming out this week. So I'm just looking forward to getting to Indy. I've got, as I said, I've got quite a hit list of folks that I want to talk to, including our NHRA boss. So looking forward to getting out there. And the business of racing is really what PRI is all about. And so I've got some business I got to go take care of myself, both my shop business and.
Should we mention that? Evan Jonat, it's on the front page of NHRA.com. This is the person that we both directly report to. He has the power to banish, us at any moment. We serve at the pleasure of the president, if you will. Senior VP, NHRA National Events. And for all the people who have said over the past 5 years or longer, actually, but it's like, wow, they're really doing a lot of great stuff at the NHRA national events, like challenge coins for perfect reaction times and military service and all of this stuff. The layout of the midway, like, it's changed and become so much better. And you wonder, like, who's the person doing that? It's this guy. And now he has been promoted.
Yeah, and he is a guy that actually did an internship at Firebird Raceway in Phoenix. Is how he got started and introduced to drag racing when he was in college, and decided that it was something that he kind of got the passion for and got the bug for, and something that he wanted to do. So he has steadily worked his way up the ladder, and he's a guy like Alex. He's a guy that is not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's a guy that, no matter what his rank is, he's not afraid to be the guy out there, helping him load the truck at the end of the day, or helping him, get stuff set up and ready to go, and helping him get the stage in place for pre-race or whatever needs to be done. And so, he's not a guy that just sits in his office with his feet up and barks orders. He's a guy that gets out there and actually, gets to work. So, I think it's, the guy's been around for a while. Every time they've given him more responsibility, he has taken it, he has run with it, and he's done a good job with it. And so I think it's a good opportunity for him, and I'm happy for him. I sent him a congratulatory text yesterday as soon as I heard.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great news. It's great news. And like, it's positive news. It's negative news. There's people who are, they just are addicted to posting negative things about everything on social media. But the general trend of the National Hot Rod Association and the events and the ratings and everything, like, the general trend has been up and positive, especially for the people that actually go and enjoy the sport. And this guy's a part of it. There's a lot of it. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the future. All right, Alan, I'm excited about PRI as well. I will see you there on, Thursday, Friday. We'll see you there. We'll be in the Total Seal booth doing the Hidden Horsepower podcast. Swing by if you get a moment.
I will certainly do it. I will be out there mowing the lawn, as we say, headed, up and down the aisles and checking in with people and vendors. And wow, my trash truck. How long has it been since we had the trash truck here?
Long time, man. This is celebration. We've missed the trash truck. Good job.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, all is right with the world. All right, Alan. Thank you.
All right, Joe. Talk soon.
There he goes. Voice of the NHRA, Alan Reinhart, joins us each week right here on WFO Radio. We ask you to subscribe, click the bell, all of you on YouTube. Look at this guy, C5 Pete. He's going to be at PRI. Is Alan disappointed with how little power Project Pontiac made? Yeah, I'm not getting him with that. Starting a whole nother thread. No, we're not doing that, right? Thank you for another great show. All is right with the world. The trash truck arrived. Exactly. Great show, guys. Money forgives everything. Have a safe trip to PRI. Justin says, isn't Dixon still banned from racing in the NHRA? No, man. It's been a long time. Larry Dixon is back, man. He's bad. That's all like so in the past. So in the past. It's like nobody's not even a thing. Great Ignition show. We talked a lot about the Project Pontiac video. Super excited. John Force wants to put Austin Prock in the peak Chevy and Robert Hite coming back, maybe. Listen, Austin Prock has Cornwell Tools for the next 3 years. Cornwell Tools is going to be the sponsor of the U.S. Nationals. That is locked. That came out at the SEMA show, and that is locked. There are some questions with John Force Racing, and you know, I spoke with John a little bit at the awards ceremony, and I can tell you that I'm not a doctor. My personal assessment is that John should continue to get as healthy as he possibly can. So like I would, if I'm playing armchair general manager, it's not John Force driving the Pete Camaro, in my opinion. Maybe they'll shock me, but in my opinion, that won't happen. So we haven't heard from Robert Hite publicly about driving. I don't know what his situation is. Obviously, wish him the best. Can't help thinking about one of the greatest drivers our sport has ever known and his availability. Is he going to be available or is he not going to be available? Does he want to be available? Does he not want to be available? Like, you know, I don't know those details. So we have to just purely speculate. What will happen? I don't know. Jack Beckman did a great job, right? What about, other people, younger talent? We don't know. This is the fun of silly season. This is how sports radio and stick and ball sports make their money. They get people that come on here that do not on the air and that do not care about stepping on someone's news story. They don't even know them. You know, they're not a personal connection, and they just purely speculate about this one could go here. We could get Bonds and Sosa and Ken Griffey Jr. without giving up very much, right? Like that was the George Costanza line from Seinfeld in the last century, but it's a perfect example of how like the speculation works. We could get Beckman, we could get Jordan Vandergriff, and they'll be on there. And like drag racing needs that. That's part of the entertainment of it all. Part of the entertainment. Maybe 3-time champ Larry Dixon will race for Head Racing. He is a new follower to their page. Like, yeah, exactly. That is the kind of stuff we need. All right. In moderation. Final comments in the comments section, guys. I'm going to tell you about a couple things I'll be doing at PRI. Open discussion for a few minutes. If you got a comment, you want to make it, drop it in there, something that is on your radar, and we'll do all of that after this.
Foggit is a high-performance fogging oil designed especially for internal combustion engines. Foggit can be used by everyone. If you have a lawnmower, a jet ski, a motorcycle, a tractor, a high-performance car, a classic car, racing vehicles, if it has a cylinder wall, it needs Foggit.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
I will be in Total Seal booth 1525 often at the show this week. Also from 2 to 4 on Thursday and Friday. We've got some great guests, starting off with Greg Anderson at 2 o'clock. Swing by. We're going to talk to Greg about Ring Seal, about the championship, or all the latest news. We'll pepper him with some tough questions. We're going to have the president of PRI. He's going to come by. A lot of great talents, including the Stanfields people, are going to come by. We're going to talk Ring Seal and create the Hidden Horsepower podcast. Also, we've been saying it over and over again. I would love you guys are WFO listeners, if you can swing by the Foggit booth and check out the engine, and yes, take a photo with the engine and post it on your social or in your gallery. I would appreciate that. It is going to be very exciting to see the reaction, because not only is the video up, and we had a goal and we tried to achieve the goal. And I don't want to step on the video. Go check it out, though, and share it. So many great people have been helpful getting to this point. But we're in a race against time now. We're in a race against time. February 21st, 22nd, Speed World Dragway, Orlando. I got a chassis in the other room, no engine, no transmission, no converter, no wiring, no ignition system, nothing. The engine is going to come from PRI here, and then the race begins. Can we get it in, wired, plumbed, tested, on track before Orlando on the 21st and 22nd? Is that possible? It's a genuine build with a deadline. You know, we got to get these things out the door. The stuff I used to hate, right? Like, that's not real. Just plan ahead. No, we've got a genuine build. Why are we doing this? Project Pontiac. This car means so much to me. My dad, my mother, and I walked into JM Pontiac on 441 in Hollywood, Florida in 1978 to trade in our 71 Pontiac Grand Prix, the car that I had only known since I was an infant child. And Dad picks out this white with red interior Trans Am with the Screaming Chicken on the hood. And I'm like, wasn't into it. Like, why are we getting rid of the old car to get this thing? That quickly faded, and the car really became the center of my universe. I loved it. It's, that's an amazing classic car, some would say. One of the, if you got the 57 Chevy, you got the 69 Camaro, you got a couple of cars that really stand out in the minds of people, and this is one of them, I think, thanks to Smokey and the Bandit and some other movies, etc. But when we got my mom a second car, we turned it into a little street car. Dad got a cool paint job. We went to car shows. We realized that, that is kind of boring. Sitting in a car show with people talking about their cars and their folding chairs. Like, check out this folding chair. This is a really good one. We were more into the idea of doing something with it. So we started going to Miami Hollywood Speedway and racing the car. And we put a cam in it. We put an Edelbrock Performer intake on it and a Holly 750 double pumper, because that's what you do. And we turned it into a little race car. And then we realized that test and tune, kind of boring. Going down the track, just going down the track. What about competition? What can we do? We can't turn this into a stocker. We don't have the money for that. Come on, stock eliminated. That's crazy. What can we do? Bracket racing. Let's do the bracket racing. This is fun. We ran into some great friends. Ernie and Dwayne McDaniel and my great friend Lee Neal, we're still great friends to this day. And they showed us the ropes in bracket racing, and I started to drive, and I drove, and it's the whole thing, me and my dad, the whole time. The reason that I'm doing this show is many ways that car kept me interested. The other kids, they went and played Dungeons and Dragons and racquetball. And me, I stayed involved in cars because of the car. And so at the end, it was languishing. It was sitting in the garage. It was falling apart. Let it decay. Let it just go. It was a bad deal. Mistakes were made. But finally, after deciding that this cannot happen, you can't have a beautiful 78 Trans Am sitting in your garage, unable to do anything with it, we had to do something. And this is what we're doing. We're going NHRA Division 2 Super Street Racing with it. 1090 index. Now, there's a lot of people that would rather, go over there and run the Snowbird Pro Mod Nationals, right? Joe, why are you going Super Street Racing? 1090 index with your 3,200-pound car. Why don't you go to Jerry Bickle and get yourself a Pro Mod car? And the answer is budget. The people who do that are very successful people. They have built a business. They've worked really hard. They've made it, and they can do that. But those aren't the only people that get to go drag racing. That's what the NHRA is built on, is that there's something for everybody, even me. And the 2,800-pound minimum weight of Super Street is perfect for my 3,200-pound car. And, why don't you just get a carbon fiber? No, man. Steel fenders, glass windows, interior. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go out there and we're going to stage up, heads up against some really tough racers. And we're going to, get beaten into the ground or have some good luck. But it's going to be competition just the same. And that's what Project Pontiac is all about. And so everybody who has been helpful, why on earth would they help someone that's building a 10-second car? Why would anybody help anybody that's building a 10-second car? right? Because the competition is fierce and it's intense. And just like someone out there might be trying to thrash to make it in Top Fuel and their budget is, times a million, me and my guys are trying to make it to Orlando. And it's going to be a challenge for me and it's going to be fun. And at the end of it, I'll have a car that's all together and really a proper tribute to my dad who bought it. But, a lot of people have not understood, like, why would you want to go throttle stop racing? Why would you not? There's thousands of people that are involved in the NHRA that are doing this because it's a tremendous challenge. Why would Bo Butner want to go throttle stop racing? The guy has won the world championship in pro stock. He's driven a pro modified car, and yet they go out there and they run super gas and super street and super comp because it's incredibly challenging. It's about the competition. You build a car and then you race the car, as opposed to building a car and then realizing, oh my God, everybody's faster than us. We got to build it again. And the goal for me is to continue to make that argument that the people who don't like or understand the throttle stop racing, they don't really understand what's going on there. And we're going to showcase it and see what happens. All right, let's see what everybody else has got to say. I'm super excited about heading out to PRI. Kudos on exceeding the goal. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. Make sure they go. Looking forward to watching those PRI podcasts. They're always great. If you want to hear about the Kye Kelley thing, Matt in Australia on Ignition summed it up very well. I thought there were a couple of really interesting threads going on. Jerron Settles, who's the Flying Airbrush, who's a friend, was talking a little bit about Kye Kelley coming in and, whooping everybody and all of that. And steel roof and quarters. I'm a big steel roof and quarters guy, or I was. I understand the whole FX situation, and talking to Jerry Haas kind of opened my eyes a little bit to it's more expensive, it's more work, it's more challenging. But I do really like the cars that look just like the cars that we race, that are on the street. But they race so often. They race a lot. And the more you do it, the better you're going to be. And so if you go out there and say, like, who has had the most laps in the last 6 months? I don't know. I think Kye is probably going to be one of the high numbers with all that they do. Different track conditions, different stuff. So it's, my point is, it shouldn't be surprising. Shouldn't be surprising. Going to the 8th mile. But it's cool. Car with headlights. Car with headlights. Like, that's neat. So we'll see. And then the talk was like, maybe all Pro Mod cars should look like that. But going to the quarter mile, that extra wheelbase is a safety feature. So we'll see. All right. Kara, great show. Thanks for all that you do. I'm diehard all the way. Keep it posted. Give us a like and a comment on that Project Pontiac video. Considering the circumstances, Project Pontiac is everything to you, and I wish you the best with it. Can't wait to see you race it. Thank you, Frisky. Appreciate it. It really is. This guy's, wants you to hit the like button. I do too. Here we go. 1966-67, raced my 64 Dodge at Irwindale. Drove it to work every day. Learned a lot with that car. Then came along Uncle Sam with an invitation I couldn't turn down. Yeah, Don. That happened to a lot of people. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and, that's one of the topics, right? It's always a topic. You could go back, and the Ken Burns documentary pretty much just cemented the whole thing for me. But yeah, some people couldn't turn down that invitation, and kind of broke the chain for drag racing, the fun of drag racing for a lot of folks. Very tough. Most people have no clue the expense financially, physically to run a heads-up class. Throttle stop racing is a solid way to race within a budget with funds and help. That's it. That's it. It restricts the budget in a way that enables a Chris Gerritsen to compete with a Gary Stinnett. Chris Gerritsen's got a dragster with a big block, runs 121 miles an hour. Gary Stinnett's got one that runs 190 miles an hour. And the budgets are different. But Gerritsen is doing his thing and Gary's doing his thing. And they're both focused on their own thing. And they have different amount of money they can spend. Or, for Gary, it's part of his business to be successful racing. And Throttle Stop Racing enables that. So you don't have to, like, we're going to do the best thing we possibly can. We've done it. Let's put it on the dyno. Oh, it's not good enough. Now what? Well, you got to do it again. Got to do it again. That's a different style of racing. It's amazing, but it just takes a lot. Takes a lot. We're seeing it. We're seeing it in Pro Stock. Seeing it in Top Fuel. We're seeing it everywhere. Line up against Kye. Yeah. Guy's good. Guy's good. Once again, congratulations to Alex. Great stuff. Thumbnail for the video is this. Check it out. Don't miss it. And everybody who was so helpful over the past couple of months, we appreciate you. Couldn't have done it without you. We just got, we got to the starting line now. Engine going to PRI. I invite you all to go check it out. Swing by, stop me if you're going to PRI, say hi, and get the steps in, baby. Count those, set your exercise on your iPhone. Be ready, because it's going to be a lot of fun. The NHRA stage is going to be rocking. They've got some sort of NHRA thing going on over there. I'm pretty excited. The NHRA stage is going to be rocking as well. Also, Project Pontiac swag is in our store. The link is in the chat right now. The link is in the chat. If you want to get a Project Pontiac shirt, you can certainly do that. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Tony Stewart's coming back. All kinds of good things happening. The Toyota deal, bit of a bummer. I did say I was going to elaborate on it. Let's just say this. They accomplished their mission as far as I'm concerned, because there was a time I was not receptive to Toyota's engineering prowess and the way, and now I am. Now I know all about them. Like, they got into my mind, into my methodology. Didn't know what they did. Now I do. Didn't know they were a good company to work for. Now I do. Didn't know that they had a bunch of great people. Now I do. And I share that. What other company wants that opportunity? Could it be a Tesla trying to become less hated by the combustion people? Could it be Dodge wanting to shore up their performance brand with their new Daytona? We just don't know. It's going to be an interesting storyline to follow. But it's definitely not all doom and gloom, guys. Appreciate you all. See you at PRI. Thanks to Reinhart. Thanks to Josh. WFO.